Okay, composition versus inheritance. Some developers will say that they are mutually exclusive. They are incorrect. You can have inheritance and composition at the same time. And some people will say, like, oh, one is better than the other. But in my opinion, they are both tools to use in specific instances, no pun intended, in specific circumstances. Okay. So I'm going to make a little table. Inheritance, composition. Okay. I see. So inheritance, the concept of inheritance is like the really fundamental difference comes down to two words. Inheritance is something. So a dog is an animal, right? And so you would say class dog extends animal, okay? Whereas composition is has. Okay? So a dog has legs. Each leg could be a separate instance of a class called leg, sure, and so that would be composition, okay? So let's look at that in action. So I'm going to just create Visual Studio Code. And this is in Scouting app. I don't want that. That's CDs. Make or CD tutorials. Okay, I'll just use this. It doesn't really matter. Open up. Come on, code. Code dot. Really? Really? Okay, that's dumb. Wow. Well, Visual Studio Code is messing up. Okay, that's stupid. I don't really understand why. So, why is WSL screwing up? What? Why? Okay, whatever. This is really irritating me. Let's go to a text file. Okay, so say I have a class animal, okay, and class dog, okay, extends animal. Okay, an animal has 4 limbs, so I'll say constructor limb, and then this dot limbs equals limbs. Okay, so if I say const Lily, my dog, equals new dog, okay, I'm gonna pass in some limbs. Okay, so I'm gonna make a little thing, another class called class limb, and I'll say constructor, I don't know, name, and then side. Okay, and then this dot name equals name, this dot side equals side. All right, so now a dog has 4 limbs, so new limb, and then I'm just gonna copy and paste that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, limb is front, and then left. And actually, I'm just gonna copy and paste that right here, and this will be back. Okay, and actually, I'm just gonna front, right, back, right. Great. So now this is both inheritance and composition because dog extends animal, okay, and animal contains limbs. So this dog is an animal, inheritance. This dog has limbs, composition. That is the main that is really what inheritance versus composition is. One is not better than the other. They are just tools that you can use under certain circumstances. However, if you find yourself getting into like these massive inheritance trees and it's just so freaking big, and it's really hard to wrap your head around and you're really struggling, you likely could use composition as a tool to help you get around that. So that's what people are saying what they should be saying when they say that composition is better than inheritance is that in certain circumstances it can be more useful and help clean up your code. But really, the fundamental difference, really and truly, they both are useful, and developers use them all over the place. I mean, if you go into the document object model inside of your code, inside of front-end JavaScript, okay, and I'm going to say console.clear. If I say document, okay, you can see that, okay, document.constructor.name. I can see that document.constructor.name, HTML document. So you have different elements. So HTML element is a class, okay? So I could say const div equals new, or equals document.create element div, okay? So div.constructor.name. This will say HTML div element, but I'm going to see if this div is of type HTML element. So div instance of HTML element, okay? And that returns true because this HTML div element is extended off of HTML element up here, okay? And I'm pretty sure document is as well, or document.body instance of HTML element. Okay, that's true. What about document? Document instance of HTML element. Okay, this is false because document, this HTML document, is not a child class of that. However, each of these things has properties. So div.style. This is a CSS style declaration class. That is composition, okay? So this is a class called CSS style declaration that is on every single HTML element. That is a fundamental property of HTML element. This whole thing demonstrates both inheritance, because a div is an HTML element, and every HTML element has a CSS style declaration. Okay, so they are two different things to be used in different situations where it could be more useful to use one than the other, but both have their place. And so if any developer or if any person is like saying, hey, don't use inheritance, it is bad, yada, 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 they're wrong. It is a useful tool that is useful in specific situations. Try to not think of them as mutually exclusive, okay? They are both very useful. All right. So that is it on inheritance versus composition.